Uh, Sorry. Thank you, Paul. And hi, everyone. It's great to be here. And thanks for this time today. I wanted to let you all know about some key races for Democrats in the state legislature this cycle. In particular, I'm hoping that members of the 43rd District Dems can find some time and are able to help in these races. As you know, or we'll hear later in this endorsement meeting, none of the reps in the 43rd, our senator and our 2 reps, including me, are all up for re-election, and we do not have opponents. So that may mean that folks who normally would spend some effort working in our own home district can hear about some other candidates and help there. So I'm just going to run through some top priority candidates. And before I do, I'll say that this is a really tough election season for Democrats. I probably don't need to tell you that. That's true across the country and is certainly true in Washington State. There are about a dozen House races that I'm going to run through. Most are incumbents, but there's a couple of open seats as well that are opened up by some retirements, resignations in the House. And then I'll say that Senator Peterson is not able to be here. Jamie Peterson is not able to be here this evening, but I'm going to touch on a handful of Senate races as well. And hopefully Jamie can come to a future meeting and talk a little bit more about those candidates. And then if I'm able to, I'll put this info in the chat so you all have it. So in the House, the sort of top priority districts are our swing districts. These are where folks have won by only a small number of votes in the past. We'll hear from April Berg, Representative April Berg, a colleague of mine, shortly. She is on this list and is running a great campaign up in Snohomish County. And has been an incredible member, including a very strong member on our House Finance team, which is our tax policy team. So April's in Snohomish County. Her seatmate Brandy Donaghy, who was joined the House just this last session, is also up for her very first election to the House, and is also in a very vulnerable seat with strong Republican opposition. The other races I'll name there's a couple of races up north. Dave Paul, who represents the 10th legislative district, which includes Whidbey Island and Skagit County, and Alicia Rule, who is up in the Bellingham, Linden, Whatcom County area, both won by razor thin margins last time, and have strong Republican opposition there. Both of those seats are targets for Republicans to win back. And you may know that Dave Paul is the only Democrat representing the 10th. His House seatmate and his senator both are Republicans, and Alicia Rule, her seatmate was Sharon Shoemake, and Sharon is running for the Senate. So she is also a priority candidate, and Sharon is running for the seat that was previously held by former Senator Doug Erickson, who passed away in late 2021. Now I'm gonna, one other candidate I want to name, Dan Branowski. Dan Branowski is a medic and firefighter in Pierce County and in the kind of Lakewood area. And he is also his seat is being targeted by Republicans to flip. I want to focus a little bit on our closer to home races as well here in King County. 2 in South King County and 1 in East King County. Jamila Taylor is running in the 30th district, which is the Federal Way area. And Deborah Enteman is running for reelection as well in the 47th legislative district, which is the Kent, Auburn, Covington area. They are both tremendous leaders in the House Democratic Caucus, members of and it's no surprise that we have on this list that I'm mentioning 1, 2, 3, 4 Black women who are being targeted by Republicans and are particularly vulnerable. So given the political dynamics in their districts. So April Berg, Brandy Donaghy, Jamila Taylor, and Deborah Enteman. And then one other race I'll name is Lisa Callan, who is running in the 5th legislative district, and a former state rep, Chad Magendas, did one of those Friday 4 p.m. filings during filing week. And the Republicans are putting strong backing behind Magendas. This is a seat that Lisa Callan flipped 4 years ago from a Republican incumbent, and she's fighting hard to keep her seat. And Republicans are gaining traction in these King County races, which is why I name them in particular, the 30th, the 47th, and the 5th. There's a couple other open seats, both again in South King County. One is the 47th legislative district. Jesse Johnson left his seat in the House, or he will be leaving at the end of his term this year. And that seat has 2 Democrats running. And so we expect one of them to get through the primary. They may both be candidates you may know. One is Shukri Olo, who ran for King County Council last year. And the other is Chris Stearns, who currently sits on the Auburn City Council. And they have a formidable Republican candidate who's out raising them in fundraising, and is also very well known in the district. So Shukri and Chris both could use support, and we'll have a clearer sense after the primary who's going to be likely running against a Republican opponent there. And then in the 30th district, which is the Federal Way area, Christine Reeves, who's our former state representative who ran for Congress a couple years ago, and Carrie Anderson, who is a longtime pastor here in Seattle. You may know him from the First AME Church, lives down in South King County and is a first-time legislative candidate. So those are the House races. And then the Senate, I'm just going to name 3 high priority races. 2 names may be familiar to you. Emily Randall in the 26th legislative district, that's Kitsap County, Bremerton, South Bremerton, and Port Orchard area. Sharon Shoemake up in Whatcom County, who was in the House, is now running for the Senate. And in the 47th, we have the open House seat that I named, but we also have an open Senate seat that was currently held by Senator Mona Das. And so in that race, we have Satwinder Kaur, who is currently, I believe, on the Kent City Council. I think I got that right. And I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Somebody else may know better than me. So I wanted to name those races and also be able to just take some questions if anyone has questions. But what I would encourage you to do is I'm going to post their websites if I can in the chat, or ask someone from the executive committee to do that. And then encourage you to get out, help volunteer. They have opportunities every single day of the week, certainly on the weekends, to knock doors. Volunteer activity will be ramping up all the way till the primary election. It's very important that we show a strong showing in all of these races. And obviously they all need money. to get the word out. So contributions are always appreciated to make sure that they can do that voter contact with the door knockers and making sure that they can have field staff all the way through their entire campaign, making sure they can get those mailers out to voters. And a lot of these highly contested races, there is TV ads and a lot of digital advertising as well. So I encourage you to really look at these races and want you to know that our ability to really push for progressive policies in Washington state is contingent on us having strong majorities. A lot of the policies that I've worked with many members of this LD with on could only be possible because of the wider majorities Democrats have held. And so it's a tough year for us, as all midterms are when we have a Democratic president, and it will be time well spent. And there are fabulous people, and I'm really excited that April is going to be here, hopefully just for a short amount of time, because I know she's working hard on her campaign. So I'll copy these things, but glad to take questions if people have any.
If anyone has any questions, please just raise your hand.
I guess we don't get any more food, huh?
Please don't unmute yourself unless you have a question to ask.
Just thinking if there was something, but.
So I do have a question.
Yeah.
First of all, hi, it's good to see you. And secondly, I'm wondering if there's been any discussion about Kim Schreier's seat, which is crucial. I know that your focus is legislature, but.
Yes, that is nationally, that's a targeted seat from Republicans. I really want to flip it back. And Congresswoman Schreier could use all of our help as well. Thanks for mentioning that. And,
Thank you.
Will?
Yes. So many of my neighbors frequently complain about all the seaplanes taking off from Lake Union. And I thought I would personally bring this up with you because I've heard that they're going to double the number of flights leaving Lake Union. It's not so much the flying, it's the noise.
Yeah, well, thanks for that, Will. That is not I like it. It's like a politician press conference, because I thought the questions were going to be about the races, but that is a good issue in the 43rd. So I did some work with folks who live around Lake Union during session. Seaplanes have the lowest priority use. I mean, there's a lot of folks who think it's novelty and great that in Seattle we have these seaplanes that take off from Lake Union, but Lake Union is basically a public park, and so our recreational users are the primary users there, and so I don't know what we can do about restricting commercial uses if they're complying with that, but I'm glad to learn more about this issue and meet more with residents who live in that area, because I became somewhat educated during session about this issue, because the seaplanes had done some advocacy themselves around that issue, because I think they are trying to increase their business, but I didn't realize they had doubled their flights.
Anyone else with questions about the upcoming races? All right, well, seeing no additional hands, thank you very much, Nicole. please do take a look at the list of races that Nicole put into the chat, and we'll get this also out in a follow-up email to everyone. Thanks, Nicole. And now April.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me here today. I know LD time is really valuable. I'm Representative April Berg from the 44th LD. I'm coming to you in kind of a Princess Leia moment. Obi-Wan, we need your help. I don't know how else to say it. We are in the race for our lives. All the good things that we've accomplished over not just the last 2 years, but the last 4 years are at stake because of districts like mine. I will tell you, I love my district. I am a part of a historic all-Black delegation. So my seatmate, Rep. Donaghy, as well as my Senator, Rep. Lovick, are all African Americans, and I am proud to be serving this seat. Another first for this seat for me is I'm the first woman to be elected to the 44th since Maria Cantwell. So you can see why I say that this is very much a swing district that isn't used to having reps like myself. That said, it's a very supportive district who believes in all of the good shared prosperity and values that you believe in the 43rd. And what it's going to take to get a lot of good legislation over the finish line is for having folks like me to go back. So I'm coming here tonight to really make a plea, but also to let you know that I am thankful because I'm seeing so many names that have already reached out to the campaign and have been supportive in 2020 as well as so far in 2022. But also just to let you know some of my passion points, and that's around progressive tax reform, protecting a woman's right to choose, protecting our climate wins. That is very, very important and very much so on the ballot, but also understanding that there is a difference between public safety and police accountability. So the thousands of doors that me and my team have hit, we've had detailed conversations with constituents about those things. And our Dems and even some of our moderates are not asking us to go backwards, but they are really, they're looking for reasons to come out and vote and be energized. So I tell you all this because I really do need your support. Folks like me need your support so that we can continue the good progress that reps like Chop and Macri have made in our House of Representatives. So with that, I'm happy to take questions, but I'm also going to tell you, I'm going to put my link tree in the chat. I do that not just because I want you to know where my campaign website is, but I want you to see me on social media and also read some of the op-eds that I've written on small business and economic recovery, the importance of feeding all of our kids, and as well as things like menstrual equity and the opioid crisis. So I'm going to leave that and then hopefully take a few questions and not take up too much of your time. But thank you so much for having me.
All right, if you have any questions for April, please raise your hand. Anyone have questions about April's race? Sam, yep.
All right, there, I found my voice. So I just wanted to mention, as election chair for the 43rd, we're really looking for a big push in the 44th this cycle. So we're doing sort of a sibling district thing. So thank you so much, April, for joining us. Like, you know, you wanna do something, go knock doors in the 44th. Like all of our races in the 43rd are uncontested, and so there's a ton of good progressive energy here. So please, please, please put that to good use. And so really happy to be partnering with you.
Thanks, Sam. Tim?
Hi, Representative Berg. I was just curious, has your district changed very significantly on account of redistricting? You know, are you having to contact new people who used to vote in a different district before this time?
Oh, we gotta unmute you.
Perfect. Got it. Okay. Thanks so much. And thank you for that question. And yes, my district did change. So I used to represent parts of Marysville and Lake Stevens. I no longer do. I currently represent the city of Mill Creek and the city of Snohomish, and then a whole lot of unincorporated Snohomish County that goes about all the way east to right around the border of Monroe, and then all the way down to the King Snohomish line. I did pick up a little bit of the first, but it's a lot of new voters to contact and reach out to. And I'll put a number on that. It's about $4,000 worth. I sent letters to all of my new voters saying, hello, welcome. I'm your new representative. And it was with great response. We did a 1-2 step with a letter and then a knock on a door by somebody, either myself or someone on my team, to say hello. Voters were very appreciative, but I will tell you, it was very expensive. I was just on the phone today with Rep. Kaloba, and we are plotting our July 4th kind of takeover of Bothell, because she wants folks to know that Bothell is now represented by not just the 1st, but also the 44th. So there's a lot of intentionality, but there is a lot of change. And that change, frankly, is expensive. And I also kind of wanted to say something when Sam was talking about the canvassing opportunities. We're trying to make it super simple and fun. We have a Black-owned coffee shop right here in our district. We meet every single Saturday at 11 a.m. to get our canvassers out there onto doors. Here's why I need the 43rd. We only canvass in pairs. I love my district. I love my people. But yes, you saw it right in the news that I did have a swastika put on one of my signs. It is not the place that we ever send out someone alone. So that means we need twice the force. We also have personal protection devices that we send out with folks, which did cost the campaign a little bit of money as well. These are just really big alarms that go off if they pull it, and a big strobe light. So we make sure everyone's protected, safe, well caffeinated, and of course having fun, because this coffee shop is all about fun and has some of the best panda yucca anyone has ever tasted. So please, if you have 11 a.m. on a Saturday, just show up to Mix Coffee and Community right here in Mill Creek, and we will get you on some doors. But thank you for both of those questions.
Any other questions for Representative Berg? All right. Thank you very much for coming and joining us. And I will echo what Sam said. If you're looking for someone who you can help get elected this year, please hit up April Berg's campaign and give them a hand. And we'll include your Linktree link in our follow-up email as well, so everyone has that. Thanks. All right. With that, we are to our endorsement bonanza. Let me share my screen again. Oh, there we go. Right. Make this a little bit smaller. Is this, can people see this? Or is it too small? I got
Too small, Paul. We make it a little bigger.
It's too small. All right, hold on a second. How's that?
I like it. Thank you very
All right.
much.
Okay, just so everyone has it, let me throw the agenda into chat. So you can follow along there. We've got our endorsement rules here. You can see the link. Let me just walk through how this is going to go tonight, so everyone has it. We've got a slate of candidates. Link is here. I'll open it up in a second. These are candidates that we are recommending that we endorse all together. The list here are candidates, and Sam, correct me if I mistake this. These are candidates who are 1, Democrats, 2, running unopposed in their race. or whom we believe will be certainly endorsed. Any member can remove anyone from the slate, and then we will do a separate endorsement vote for any of the candidates who's removed from the slate. So we've got the slate, and then we've got 3 positions that we're going to Sam is correcting me, not unopposed like Murray, but expected to win like Murray is expected to win. Then we've got 3 individual races that we will hold votes on, the 2 Seattle court positions, 3 and 7, and then the Secretary of State position. Before I go on and we talk through the slate, oh, sorry, one other thing on this. Unlike times in the past where we have 1 ballot with everybody on it, so what we'll do is we'll look through the slate. I'll give the opportunity to pull candidates off of the slate. If we pull a candidate off the slate, we'll add them onto the ballot as an individual vote. Once we then talk through all of the candidates, we'll send out the ballot for the vote. For candidates who are going to vote, there is a 2-minute speech by the candidate. And so we'll go through all of each of the candidates' 2 minutes speeches, and then we'll send out the voting form. And when we send out the voting form, I'll talk through the mechanics of the voting a little bit more so that we don't forget it between now and then. Are there any questions about the process we've got going here before we talk about the slate? If you have a question, please raise your hand. All right, not seeing any questions. So we've got the slate here. Let me put the slate into chat. So this is the list of candidates that we are recommending that we vote for all together. We've got 3 King County District Courts. I believe these are all running unopposed. King County Prosecutor, Lisa Mannion. Several Superior Court, 2 Superior Court positions. I believe these are also unopposed. State Reps, Nicole Macri, Frank Chop, both running unopposed. Longtime reps. State Senator Jamie Peterson, also running opposed, also longtime rep. 2 state Supreme Court positions, Mary Yu and Helen Whitener. House District 7, of course, our illustrious Pramila Jayapal, and Senator Patty Murray. So we've got I put the link to the slate in chat. Walk through this. I will now entertain if there's anybody who would like to remove anyone from the slate. Let's see, Matthew, you've got your hand up.
Hi there. Yeah, my name's Matthew. Pronouns are he, him. I'd like to remove Jamie Peterson from the slate.
Okay. Let me strike through. Where's strike through on this? Here we go. All right. Camille?
I was just going to second that motion to remove Senator Peterson.
Okay. All right.
And
okay.
I also move to remove Senator Murray.
Okay. Are there any other, is there anyone else want to remove somebody from the slate? All right, I am not seeing anyone else being requested to be removed from the slate. With that, so we're going to vote on the slate after we go through the other candidates. We'll talk. Oh, there's Lori. You have something you want to say? Please raise your hand so we can unmute you. Can somebody unmute Lori? Sam, we can't vote on this slate. We don't have the technology to do that this time. Sorry.
So if we're going to remove Senator Murray, I'd like to remove Pramila Jayapal.
Okay. I see what you're saying, Sam. Thanks. Anyone else want to remove somebody from the slate? Well, I'll ask one more time. Is there anyone else who wants to remove anyone from the slate? Okay. Sam is reminding me that we asked to endorse the slate by acclamation. So we'll do that. Now, remember, if you're voting by acclamation here for this slate, we are excluded Senator Jamie Peterson, Representative Jayapal, and Senator Murray from the slate. If there is anyone, let's see, I will ask, is there anyone who objects to endorsing this slate of candidates by acclamation? If so, please raise your hand. Joan?
I don't understand why these three are being removed.
Any candidate from the slate can be removed by any member for any reason.
And I don't need to know why?
And you don't need to know why. We will vote on them along with the other candidates. So we'll vote on endorsing them in a few minutes. They just won't be included in the slate that we vote by acclamation. Is there anyone who objects to endorsing the slate of candidates by acclamation? Yes, Joan.
I'm voting against that.
If you're voting against endorsing the other candidates on the slate?
I'm voting against it because I want the other three on the slate.
Any member can remove any candidate from the slate for any reason. And we will vote on those candidates as part of the standard voting. So you will have an opportunity to vote to endorse these three candidates in a few minutes. All right, seeing no objections to endorsing this slate of candidates by acclamation, we will hereby endorse these candidates from the 43rd. All right. We will move on first to the three candidates who were already on the agenda to be voted for. So we've got first up the Seattle Municipal Court Position 3, Adam Eisenberg and Pooja Vadati. Do we have Adam Eisenberg and Pooja Vadati here? Yes, Linda, question? Linda, do you have a question before we start?
Can I speak? I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I'm, yeah, okay.
Yep.
I was raising my hand to make a nomination.
For one of these,
These two, yes.
okay,
Shall I do it now?
sure.
I nominate Adam Eisenberg for State Seattle Municipal Court Position 3 for endorsement.
All right. Is there any other? Tara?
Yes, I nominate Pooja Vedade.
Okay. All right. So both have been nominated. We'll go in alphabetical order of first name here. Adam, would you like to speak?
Yes, I would.
All right. All right. Each candidate has 2 minutes to speak.
All right, thank you.
And sorry, just 1 second. Just want to make sure. Cass, are you ready with the timer?
Yeah, give me just a second. Could you stop screen share so I can have
Yes.
candidate and all right, thanks. Okay, all right. Thank you, Judge. I'm ready for you to go.
All right, thank you. Good evening. My name is Adam Eisenberg, and I'm the judge in Seattle Municipal Court Position 3. Appointed in 2017, I earned the 43rd's endorsement in 2018, and tonight I'm seeking your endorsement again. I came to the bench after 7 years as a criminal prosecutor, 5 years as a civil defense attorney, and 13 years as a commissioner and magistrate. I also bring my experiences as a Jewish person and as a gay man. As a judge, I work to create a legal system that treats everyone fairly. I know the people who appear before me have all experienced trauma, whether they committed a crime or are survivors or victims of crime. And I see my job as helping them heal so they can move on and leave the court system. My primary caseload is domestic violence. I grew up with an abusive father, and I believe treatment is critical to helping heal the abusers as well as their families. That's why I'm on a steering committee for the Domestic Violence Intervention Project, or DVIP. It's a therapeutic program we're doing in Seattle Municipal Court to provide individualized treatment for those who commit intimate partner violence. I wrote about DVIP in an op-ed piece for the Seattle Times last October, urging the state legislature to pay the cost for court-ordered domestic violence treatment so the burden doesn't fall on the offenders or their families. On a lighter note, I'm also co-director of Seattle Youth Traffic Court. That's where Garfield High School students come to Seattle Municipal Court once a month and serve as judges, jurors, prosecutors, and defense attorneys for other teenagers who've committed tickets in Seattle. Kids who successfully complete youth court have their tickets dismissed so they don't have to pay fines or have their insurance rates go up. In my reelection bid, I'm proud to say I have received endorsements from the 32nd and the 34th and from over 100 judges across the state, including Chief Justice Stephen Gonzalez, Justice Mary Yu, Justice Helen Whitener, and Justice Barbara Madsen. I would greatly appreciate the opportunity to continue my work in Seattle Municipal Court, and I ask for your endorsement tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And do we have someone who's here to speak for Pooja? Or do we have Pooja?
Yeah, I'm introducing.
Okay, we ready with the timer, Cass? And is Pooja unmuted?
I'm unmuted. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, Cass, let's go.
And ready with the timer.
All right. As a public defender, every day, Pooja Vedade serves to realize the ideals of justice that are at the heart of our court system, and realizes the various paths people take that bring them into court. So I'm happy to support Pooja Vadadi for municipal court judge.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Tara. My name is Pooja Vadadi, and I'm running for Judicial Position 3 in Seattle Municipal Court. I'm respectfully asking for your endorsement tonight. I'm a first-generation Indian American, a child of immigrants, a Washington native, and a career public defender. For my entire life, the only career that has ever called to me is service through the law. And now I'm running for judge in Seattle in order to serve and help the community that raised me and to become the first South Asian woman elected to this bench. The core of my campaign platform is restorative justice. Restorative justice means a focus on rehabilitation and reconciliation, a focus on ending the patterns of abuse that cause recidivism and granting offenders the opportunities necessary for them to re-enter society. Compassion and fairness mean understanding that every defendant, witness, and victim is a human being with their own challenges and struggles. As a career public defender, I spent years learning to see and to understand the struggles of mental illness, poverty, and desperation that impact Seattle's most vulnerable. Fairness is owning the fact that our criminal justice system has failed some who enter the courtroom, that anyone who interacts with the court may have reason to distrust the system, the police, or even their own attorneys. I cannot promise that every decision I make will seem fair to every person who walks out of my courtroom, but when elected, I promise to approach every case with an open mind and with respect. I will uphold the highest standards of competence, integrity, and impartiality. I have the experience to understand why it is so important that we check our biases so that outcomes are never dictated by such factors as race, gender, and socioeconomic status, but instead in accordance with the law guided by compassion and fairness. At this time, I've been endorsed by the 46th, 37th, 34th LD, the Young Democrats of King County, and the King County Democrats. My hope is that after tonight, I can add the 43rd LD to my own LD to this growing list of endorsements. Thank you so much for your time.
Unmute yourself. All right, thank you. Thanks to both the candidates. Remember, we will vote on endorsing all the candidates after we get through all of the speeches for all the candidates. Thank you for bearing with us on this. All right, next up, we have Seattle Municipal Court Position 7. Do we have nominations in this race? Let's see, I see a hand. Benjamin?
I nominate Damon Shadid.
Thank you. Do we have any other nominations in this race? Okay. Right. Do we have Judge Damon Shadid here to speak?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. All right. Cass, if you're ready.
Yep, I am ready. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Judge Damon Shadid, and I'm asking for the endorsement of the 43rd tonight. I've served as a judge in Seattle Municipal Court for the past 8 years. And honestly, it was the endorsement of the 43rd 8 years ago that really put wind in my sails. You guys elected me to enact reform in the criminal legal system, and that is exactly what I have done. Let me tell you about a few marquee projects that I've been on at Seattle Municipal Court, and a project that I'd also like to continue to work on. First, I led the way in creating a new community court where I unified public defenders, the city attorney, and a court behind a shared vision of connecting people with services instead of proceeding with a traditional jail-based agenda. I also expanded and reimagined our mental health court to better work with community partners like Community House in order to make sure that people can be connected with services who have mental illness instead of being held in jail. In addition to that, I started a consolidated calendar. This is a calendar that creates efficiency, but also justice, and that it allows defendants who are already working with caseworkers in the community to have one place where they can come with their caseworker in order to handle their court cases. And then their caseworkers can spend more time in the community doing the great work that they are able to do. I was proud to be the first Arab American ever popularly elected to the bench at Seattle Municipal Court. And I'm proud to have great endorsements from Supreme Court Justice Mary Yu, Steve Gonzalez, and 7 other Supreme Court justices. From labor, SEIU 775, the Amalgamated Transit Union, the Machinists, and the Teamsters. From the 32nd, the 34th, the 37th, and the 46th District Democrats, as well as the Young Democrats. And I hope to have your support as well. The new project that I see that I'm running out of time, but I'd love to talk to you as well about my new project. And I did put my website in the chat for you to take a look at. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Judge Shadid. Next up, we have the Secretary of State race. Do we have any nominations for Secretary of State? Are there any nominations for the Secretary of State position? All right. Eileen Flower?
Yep. I'd like to nominate Steve Hobbs.
All right, thank you. Are there any other nominations in Secretary of State? All right, seeing none. I don't believe we have Steve Hobbs on the call. Is there anyone who would like to speak for 2 minutes on behalf of Steve Hobbs? Anyone? Eileen? Yeah.
Thank you. He was nominated, Steve Hobbs was nominated by the governor, Democratic candidate in good standing, and he is Asian. No reason not to support him.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Let's see. We've done the 3 positions that we had on the agenda to talk about. Now we were getting to the 3 positions that were pulled off of the slate. Again, those 3 positions are state senator for the 43rd LD, the US Senate position, and House District 7 position. We will start with state senator for the 43rd. Is there anyone who would like to nominate a candidate in this race? All right, Linda?
I nominate Jamie Peterson.
All right, thank you. Because these were pulled off the slate, we'll look for someone to speak in favor of Jamie Peterson, and 2 minutes, and 2 minutes for somebody to speak for the no endorsement position. Camille, I see you're raising your hand.
I was just going to say I'm happy to speak on the no endorsement.
Okay, all right. Linda, would you like to speak for endorsement, or is there somebody else who would like to speak for endorsing of Jamie Peterson?
I'm glad to speak, but I'll try to keep it to a minute so anyone else who wants to speak may.
All right, before you start, let's just, is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor of Jamie Peterson as well? Please raise your hand. Anyone? Okay. It looks like you have 2 minutes, Linda.
Thank you. Jamie Peterson has been an excellent senator. He works hard, he stays in touch with his constituents, he reads his own mail, he responds, but more than that, his vote is often very sensible. I don't agree with everything he does. No one would with everything any legislator does. But Jamie has been good for our district and he's been good for the people in our district. He cares about the things that we've always said we care for. He cares for justice, he cares for equity, and he works that every day. And that's why I support him, and that's why I think we should support him for endorsement for re-election. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Linda. And for the no endorsement position, Camille, you were going to speak?
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I can speak for a second, and then I know that potentially Matthew Porter might have something to say as well. As the policy chair for the 43rd Dems, I have interacted with Senator Peterson a number of times. And while yes, he is very responsive to constituents, his responses are typically, in my experience, fairly condescending. He is very opposed to, or he has in the past been opposed to a wealth tax, which the 43rd Dems have been adamantly advocating for. He has supported legislation that watered down the unionization of the legislative staff. He has overseen the Judicial Committee in the Senate that has backpedaled a lot of police reform bills that happened in the 2021 session. And I think that just because he is not opposed in this race does not mean that we should automatically endorse him. I think, the fact that he's not here tonight also shows that he's become very complacent and comfortable in his position. And I would like to see us try something else than someone who's been in that seat or in representing us for so many years. I don't know if Matthew Porter also, if there's still time, wanted to say anything else.
Yeah, if there's still time, completely agree with everything that Camille said. We're one of the most progressive districts in the state, and it's our responsibility to advocate for those values. And if our representatives aren't advocating for them, even if they're running unopposed in the primary, we need to say, you're not doing enough, and withhold our endorsements. That's the power that we can have here. And so I don't think that we should be endorsing him.
All right. Thank you both. And thank you, Linda. We will move on to the next race then, which is U.S. Senator. Do we have any nominations for U.S. Senator? Rob, let me unmute you. There you go, Rob.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I nominate our incumbent Senator Patty Murray.
Thank you very much. And
I second that nomination.
All right, thank you. Do we have any other endorsements, or is there anyone who would like to speak to the no endorsement side?
If no one else wants to, I am happy to speak on no endorsement on this one as well.
All right. Okay. Who would like to speak in favor of endorsing Patty Murray? if anyone who would like to speak in favor of endorsing Patty Murray. Let's see. I've got Joan and Zoe.
I'd very much like to speak in favor of Senator Murray.
Okay. All right. And Zoe, did you also want to speak in favor of Patty Murray?
Well, if Joan is willing to do it, that's fine. I just think she's our senator and she's done a
Okay.
great job. And she's short
Okay.
like me.
All right.
She's humble. And I think that we should
So
endorse
sorry,
her.
Zoe, sorry, hold on a second. Would you, if the two of you can split the time, Cass, if you can put the timer up and each of you take 1 minute and we'll get into it.
Who goes first?
Joan and
Joan.
then Zoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just put together a table of 10 in a huge banquet room for her, and she has some terrible opposition, a lot of money from a pro-Trumper and a anti-abortion person, and I think it's very important that we keep her in that position.
Okay, thanks. Zoe?
Yeah, I think at this time, I'm in my 60s. I remember the fight for abortion when I was in junior high. And I feel that we have to support these candidates that have been hardworking and Democrats for our state and for the freedom of feminism and many, many rights that we have come to, I think, take for granted. And so I think that, no, we absolutely have to support our senator that's been working for us for so many decades. And that to not support her is very disingenuous and unappreciative. And it's hard and we don't agree, but that's because we're a democracy. We don't have to agree with everything. So I think it would be up to the 43rd, who's the most, active legislative district. We all vote. We need to support her. Absolutely. It would be a crime as a Democrat not to support her. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Camille. Let me unmute you. Okay.
Great. So I'm going to, similar to what I said about no endorsement for Senator Peterson, I am speaking as I am assuming one of the very small handful of people under 30 in this space. The reason that young people are, the reason that people are scared that this is not going to be a blue year is because young people are incredibly jaded by our Democratic Party and the entire system in which we're living under. We have not seen a legitimate challenger to any of our senators or representatives in a really long time, and it's in a primary, I think that it is absolutely fair to do no endorsement. Perhaps when we get, out of the primary and going into the general election, if there are some terrible people running against Senator Murray, then the 43rd can re-examine its stance and endorse the senator. But I think for now, we shouldn't give her an easy out for having not done a lot in the way of progressive values that the 43rd holds. Again, the policy committee has met with her office on a number of occasions trying to get her to work with Senator Sinema and Manchin to eliminate the filibuster and actually get stuff done in the Senate, which of course we know is not happening. And their office has been incredibly unwilling to do anything. Beyond the fact that I know that young people are not going to vote for her, I also personally just don't think that she's doing enough to actually make our country move into the direction that we need. If we want to actually protect abortion, we need people like her who have seniority in the Senate to be pushing the more centrist Democrats, and she's not doing that, and so I don't think she should get the easy endorsement.
All right, thank you. The last race that we have is, excuse me, is House District 7. Do we have any endorsements in the U.S. House District 7 race? Elaine. Come on, Zoom. Sorry. There we go.
Okay, I think I'm there. I wanted to also share Camille's objection in relation to Senator Murray.
Sorry, we've already had 2 minutes. My apologies. We've already had 2 minutes to speak for the no endorsement position for Murray. We're now moving on to U.S. House position 7. This is Pramila Jayapal's. I'm looking for an endorsement in the U.S. House District 7 race.
I am in the 7th district and I do endorse Pramila Jayapal. She has more than...
Sorry. Apologies. We need to see if there's anybody who wants to speak to the no endorsement position before we move to speeches. Is there anyone who would like to speak to the no endorsement position in this race?
I actually second the endorsement of Pramila. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Is there anyone who would like to, if you can, I'll lower your hand. Is there anyone who'd like to speak to the no endorsement position? All right. Seeing that there is no one who would like to speak to the no endorsement, we'll just have opportunity for somebody to speak to the endorsement of Representative Pramila Jayapal. Is there anyone who'd like to do that? Elaine, would you like to? Are there others? If so, please raise your hand. Will would like to, Elaine, okay. I will unmute you both. If you could each keep it to 1 minute. And Cass, if you can get ready with the timer. And Elaine, whenever you are ready.
Pramila has always lived up to her talk as a progressive. She is one of the she is probably the leading progressive candidate representatives within the House, and is a person with the diplomatic skills and the savvy to be able to not only hold her position, but also bring her position to the attention, if not the support, of people who would otherwise be opposed. I would love to have her for a senator if we could, but so far we are so fortunate to have her as our representative and in relation to both domestic and foreign policy. Foreign policy is extremely
Right. Thank you, Elaine. Pramila has been a workhorse ever since she was nominated and has been elected. And she has brought progressive values to a broad coalition nationwide, as well as doing the literal work for the district itself in the House of Congress. She literally has put her life and her health on the line for us. I strongly encourage you to vote for her endorsement. Thank you.
All right. Linda, do you have a question?
Is anyone speaking for no endorsement on this one?
There has been no one who has asked to speak for no endorsement.
I would like to do that, please.
Okay. Cass, if you can reset the timer. Thanks. Okay. I think Cass is ready.
I'm waiting.
There we go.
I agree completely with what Will just said. and I think Pramila Jayapal is an excellent House representative. But if we're going to apply measures of purity to our elected representatives, which is what I've heard demanded of Senator Murray, then we need to do the same with Pramila. And frankly, she failed miserably on the issue on which she was holding up legislation in order to get a bigger payment, a bigger amount of money for COVID relief. She played the game, she lost, and she caved. And she went ahead and allowed one package to be voted for, and the second package never came to a vote. So if we're going to apply purity tests, we need to apply it to Pramila as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Linda. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the speeches. Give me just 1 second. I will share my screen and I will walk you through the voting process that we are going to use this time. All right, let me bump this up. Okay, we will include this. We'll send the link to this in chat in just a minute. The way we're going to do the voting is you put your voting code in. You should have already received an email with your voting code. If you do not have your voting code, please send an email to tally, T-A-L-L-Y, at 43rddemocrats.org. That again is tally at 43rddemocrats.org. If one of the board can throw that email address in the chat as well, that'd be great. Then you'll see as we go through this that we have each of these positions on the ballot. First up, Salem Municipal Court position 3 with Adam Eisenberg and Pooja Vadadi, and a no endorsement position. We have Salem Municipal Court position 7. We had 1 nomination here for Damon Shadid, and we also have a no endorsement position. Secretary of State, we had an endorsement for Steve Hobbs, and we also have the choice of no endorsement. State Senate for the 43rd, Jamie Peterson, and no endorsement. U.S. Senator Patty Murray, and no endorsement, and U.S. House District 7, Pramila Jayapal, and no endorsement. For these races with the circles, you can choose either the candidate or no endorsement. For the Salem Municipal Court position, because we have 2 candidates running for this position, you can select one or both candidates. We allow multiple choice on this. You can vote for either one or the other or both, or you can select no endorsement. If you select no endorsement, please do not select either of the other candidates. Once you are done with your vote, click the submit button. Are there any questions for the process that we are? Oh, I should also add that to receive an endorsement, a candidate must exceed the threshold of 60%. And you've got this. Here we go. 60%. If any candidate received at least 40% of the ballots, we will do a reconsideration vote. Rob, you have a question. Let me unmute you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't see Najette Rose Akins for Seattle Municipal Court position 7.
When we called for endorsements, there were no endorsements requests at that time.
I'd like to add her name as nominated, please. I believe she's on the Zoom as well.
Tara, can we get a bylaws check on this? since we've already moved past the endorsement period for this race? Or Sam? You'll have to either unmute yourself or raise your hand to unmute. Sam says we are past the cutoff on this, so we're unable to accept any additional endorsements for the race at this time. Sorry. Bryce, you have your hand raised?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would you please drop the link in chat of the voting roll?
Yeah, I will in just a minute. I just want to get
thank
to
you.
the questions first. Yep. Rob, you raise your hand again.
My pronouns are she, her. Your pronouns are...
Mr. Chair, as I believe we have not voted, I believe a nomination would still be in order prior to the commence of the vote. If there's no second for the nomination, I understand we won't move forward. But if there is a second among the 59 people here, I hope that we could add Ms. Rose Akins to the ballot.
Sam, can you raise your hand and unmute yourself and speak on this?
Yeah, sure. I would personally love to add Mrs. Rose Akins to the ballot, but we passed that point. Like, this is literally how we have run our endorsements meetings for the past 4 years, is we go race by race. And if there are no nominations, we move past that. Like, procedurally, like, we're past that point. Sorry.
Okay. All right. With that, are there any questions about the voting process that I can walk people through? All right, let me stop sharing my screen. And I will grab the link. Everyone meeting. All right, I have put the link to the ballot in the meeting. Sorry, in the chat. We will start with 10 minutes for voting. I will do a check at 10 minutes to see if there's anyone who needs additional time to vote. Remember, vote for all of the candidates and no endorsements that you would prefer. And then we will do a tally at the end. If you do not have your voting code, please send an email to tally@43rddemocrats.org, and we will work to get you a voting code. All right, and while we do that, so I've got a timer going for 10 minutes here. If there's anyone who has trouble getting to the form or understanding the form, please raise your hand and we will give you assistance. If anyone needs assistance in voting, please raise your hand or put something into chat. Yes, Zoe.
I can't link into it for some reason on the chat. It doesn't go to the ballot when I hit it.
Doesn't go to the ballot?
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
All right. If you private message me your email address, I will send you the ballot via email.
Okay, thank you.
You please use private message though, so you unless you want everyone to see your email address.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I get it.
Got your email, Zoe.
I stayed the whole damn meeting
Hello?
to do this.
Hi, Michael. What can we do for you?
Well, we're just all lost about voting. We've lost some screen or ballot or something on which to vote. And we don't see where to vote anymore. There was something up
There
on our
was a
screen.
ballot and then it
There
disappeared.
seemed ballot and I touched something and it went away.
Okay. Just give me a second. I will put the do you have chat open?
Chat.
There.
Hit
No,
that.
where's chat?
Chat is right here.
With more?
Hit that.
Chat. Okay.
Okay, there it is.
All right. And in chat, I just put the link again to the ballot. If you can click that.
You can click the link.
Click the link.
Oh, that says ballot.
Yeah, there's one that says link to the ballot.
It'll say HTTP forms, etc.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yep.
I'll click that. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, you enter your voting code.
Is it showing up?
And if
No.
there's two of you, you just close the browser after you do the first vote and then click it again to do the second. With the
voting code.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there anyone else who needs assistance in voting?
Hey, Paul, James is asking if we successfully submitted a ballot in the previous link, do we need to submit a second time through this link?
You vote the ballot once.
Okay, great.
All right, we have about a minute and a half left. Is there anyone who has not yet voted? Cass, is everything set up to so that anyone can unmute themselves?
I'll change the settings for that
Right.
right now.
All right, we'll do that temporarily. I just want people to be able to say whether or not they still need more time to vote. We've got 45 votes in. We have more than that in the meeting. I just want to make sure we're not missing any votes before we move on. All right, is there anyone who is having trouble voting? Does anyone need more time to vote? If you do, you can raise your hand or unmute yourself. And
Yeah,
ask for
we
more
have
time.
Rob. Yeah, we have Rob with his hand up. What can we help you with, Rob?
Thank you. I apologize for kind of being our curmudgeon-y longtime 43rder stick in the mud on this one, but I rise to a point of order. The 43rd operates under Robert's Rules of Order, and under Robert's Rules of Order, if a motion is heard from the floor prior to a vote taking place, that motion should be heard. I asked that we nominate Najette Rose Akins, and that was prior to the vote commencing. The chair, in consultation with the other gentleman, ruled that as passed, but I believe that ruling was incorrect. I don't mean to be a pain in the butt, but I do think we should give Ms. Rose Akins, if there is a second to nominating Ms. Rose Akins, I believe we should have a chance to hear from the candidate.
We are operating under our endorsement rules, which say that candidates must be nominated. There was no nomination. And we had moved
I rose to make that nomination prior to the vote commencing.
I understand what you're saying. However, I am ruling that out of order per the endorsement rules that we have adopted.
Suspend the rules.
There was someone who suggested suspending the endorsement rules. Rather than suspending the endorsement rules, I challenged the decision of the chair on the ruling. I believe the challenging of the chair would require a majority vote to overturn. And Paul, I think you're doing great, and I don't mean to be a pain.
I
just want to make
understand.
sure that we give this a chance.
In our endorsement rules, we very clearly state that the rules may not be suspended once adopted. The endorsement rules were adopted. And second, the endorsement rules also say the decision of chair is final with respect to any question of the interpretation of these rules. We provided opportunity for an endorsement. There was no endorsement at the time that we were considering endorsements for that position. just as, sorry, yeah. Zoe, do you have a question?
No, I just agreed with Rob. We were just a little slow on the uptake, that's all. And so, but you know, that's all I wanted to say. I've got Rob's back.
Thank you. Is there anyone who needs more time to vote?
Hi, I have not been able to connect with the ballot.
You haven't?
I'm not sure why.
Do you see the link to the ballot in chat?
And yes, it gives me the wrong email address though.
But do you see the ballot?
Well, I did. I'm looking again now. Yes.
All right. Are you able to click the check boxes or the radio buttons for each of those candidates?
No, because it has the wrong email address for me and it won't let me change my email.
The email address doesn't matter. What you need is your voting code. If you just type in your voting code at the top.
Where it says required?
Yes, under voting
Okay.
code. Put your voting code in there.
Okay.
And then check which candidates you would like to endorse.
Thank you.
Click submit too.
I'm sorry, what, Will?
Click the submit button at the bottom when you are
yes.
finished.
Yeah. Does that help you get your vote in?
I think so.
Okay.
So I have a question that's not related.
Yes.
But it is related to what we were discussing earlier. Do we have a formal parliamentarian? Is that what Sam's doing, or I guess that's my question.
Sam is head of the endorsements, the elections committee, and he has the rules, and we've got Tara who is familiar with our bylaws as well.
But we don't have a parliamentarian.
We did not have a formal parliamentarian for this meeting, no.
Thank you.
All right, is there anyone else who needs assistance voting? Has everyone voted? All right. Let's see, voting. All right, with that, I will close the vote. Just give me 1 second. Oh, come on. Oh, forget it. All right. Let me share my screen. All right, the results for Salem Municipal Court position 3, we have Pooja Vadadi with 76% to Adam Eisenberg 17%. Pooja Vadadi meets the 60% threshold. Adam Eisenberg did not reach 40% threshold, so we have a single endorsement for Pooja Vadadi. Congratulations. Salem Municipal Court position 7, we have a endorsement vote for Damon Shadid of 84%, a no endorsement vote of about 16%. So we have a full endorsement of Damon Shadid. Congratulations. Secretary of State, we have 69% for Steve Hobbs, 31% for no endorsement. That passes the 60% threshold, so congratulations to Steve Hobbs. State Senate 43rd District, Jamie Peterson 40%, no endorsement 60%. The 60% is above, but we have a 40% for Jamie Peterson, so we can reconsider him. Patty Murray, endorsement 71%, no endorsement about 29%, so we have a full endorsement for Senator Patty Murray. And U.S. House District 7, Pramila Jayapal, we have 93%, which is a full endorsement. All right, so we have those candidates. I would like to give the candidates who received an endorsement the opportunity to speak for, before I do that, Tara.
Just wanted to be clear that we would not do a reconsideration in a one candidate race.
Okay. Okay. So for State Senate, then the no endorsement wins for the State Senate 43rd District race.
What are the exact votes on that?
27 and 18. With, it looks like a, yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, if there's not 60% for the endorsement, then the endorsement doesn't go through. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Pooja Vadadi, are you still here? Would you like to speak for 1 minute? Let me unmute.
Hi, sorry. Oh, can you turn your, thank you. Sorry, we have 2 Zooms going on right now in my office. Thank you so much for your endorsement. I am so honored, and I promise to uphold all of everything that I told you in my platform. And I look forward to adding this endorsement to my list. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Judge Shadid, would you like to speak for a minute?
Thank you, guys. I won't need a minute, but this really, once again, puts the wind in my sails. It feels so great to feel the support from the 43rd and the progressive policies in the criminal legal system that I've been advocating for 8 years. I really appreciate it, and I will do my best to make you guys proud. Thank you.
Thank you. And then from the slate, is there any of the candidates from the slate who would like to speak? Do we still have any of those candidates here? If so, please raise your hand. We had Representative Macri and Chop were on the call earlier. I saw we got Mary Yu. We'll start with Mary Yu. If you can speak first.
Hi, I just want to take a minute to thank the 43rd for being the great 43rd that you are. I'm running uncontested, but I still believe in finishing the process. And I just have to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your confidence in our court and what we're trying to do at the Supreme Court. I have faith in you, so thank you for having faith in us.
Thank you. Nicole, I saw you had your hand raised as well.
Thanks. And Justice Yu is always difficult to follow, but I just want to express my deep gratitude as well to the 43rd District Dems for your vote of confidence in my candidacy and in my representation. I take this job very, very seriously, and it is an incredible honor to be able to represent my neighbors in the legislature. I had the honor today to go down to the Capitol to help raise the pride flag with the governor and Justice Whitener and others who were there, and to highlight that our district has been the historic and cultural home for the LGBTQ community across the state, which is a proud distinction for us. And we have many more progressive fights ahead of us in the coming years. So I look forward to working with all of you as we continue to work to make things better for Washingtonians across the state and for our neighbors here close to home. So thank you.
Thank you. And Frank Chop.
Thank you very much. Thanks to all for the endorsement. We really appreciate it. I want to thank Nicole not only for being a great seatmate, but also her report earlier tonight about the campaigns around the state. I used to be responsible for that directly, so I know how much work it takes. And this year is a real challenge, folks. So I hope you paid attention to the details of what Nicole said. I also want to thank Camille and all the folks who pushed through the effort to do the Initiative 135. It's absolutely tremendously successful to get the signatures. I strongly support it. In fact, we've been working with Camille for months and months to develop the idea and actually do something additional to help folks that need affordable housing. Also, maybe at some point, maybe next meeting, we could talk about the preparation work we're doing for next session on some key issues. So on housing, on Apple Health and Homes, on an idea I have called the Covenant Corrections Account. I'll leave that as a little teaser. And also our efforts to fund services for people with disabilities using the wealth tax as the funding source for that. And we've got other ideas. I know Nicole's probably got some too, but I'd like to have an opportunity to talk more to the district about the specifics of those things as we look forward to not only this November, but next January. Thank you very much.
All right. Are there other candidates who are here and would like to speak? All right. I am not seeing any other candidates here who would like to speak. So with that, we will move next on to committee reports. Are there any committee reports that, Robin, do you have a question?
Oh, hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Although I didn't get, I wasn't really familiar with the endorsement process. Was there an opportunity later to talk or whatnot? I'm not.
We have a good of the order coming up. Right now we're doing committee reports.
Oh, okay. So I'll be able to talk later.
For a good of the order, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
committee reports. Dawn is not here for mutual aid. She will post into our Slack a committee report for mutual aid. King County Democrats. Do we have, I saw that we
I think,
had Sophia
hey,
here.
Paul.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul. I think Camille is going to speak for mutual aid.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, just really quick, Dawn was unable to make it tonight, but asked me to give her update really quick. It's a very short update, but just wanted folks to know that tomorrow at 7 p.m. the mutual aid committee will be meeting on Zoom. Email Dawn, I believe it's Dawn Daly at 43rddemocrats.org is her email. And if you are interested in attending, and they'll be voting on who to direct the funds to, which mutual aid group to direct funds to this month. So yeah, make sure you attend if you're interested.
And Camille, while you're on, do you have anything additional for the policy committee?
Not particularly. I think we made the announcement at the last meeting that we have 2 resolutions for the state convention coming up this weekend. We'll be bringing forward a resolution on a wealth tax, as well as a resolution on transit and focusing transit budgeting towards mass transit and not towards highways. So we're hoping to rally our delegates and other delegates around the state to vote for our resolutions this weekend.
All right, thanks. Let's see, Sophia, anything about King County Dems?
Paul, I can speak to the Pride events.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, if nobody else was going to speak on that.
Oh.
If somebody else from King County
look.
would like to, they can do that.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, Sophia, go ahead. I'm sorry. Chelsea sent me a note, so I was going to speak, but you can cover it. Go for it.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that during our last meeting, we had we endorsed a whole bunch of people in King County. None of our candidates who who are specifically only within our district has been endorsed yet, because they have to go through our endorsement process first before they are considered in King County. So we should be getting them within the list of candidates to be endorsed soon. And go ahead, Amy.
I just really want to make sure to invite everybody to march with the King County Democrats this upcoming Saturday, June 26th. I will put a link in the chat so folks can find out more about that. And the King County Democrats have also created these absolutely gorgeous Pride t-shirts this year that have beautiful rainbow colors on the front and back with the Seattle Space Needle, and supporting the King County Democrats to fundraise so we can support our wonderful candidates. And I will put all of that information in the chat, and I will also post in the 43rd District Democrats forum. But yeah, we really want to invite folks out to march with the King County contingent this Saturday and celebrate our LGBTQ plus community. Thanks, everybody.
Sorry, I'm getting stuff in chat. Will's asking, can we get the t-shirts at the parade?
I believe
and Rob is saying there's clarify it's Sunday, 6/26.
Oh my goodness, it says Saturday, June 26th on the website. So I think that must be a mistake. You are absolutely correct. It is the Sunday, the 26th, and I will send them an email to correct that on the website. And yes, I do believe you can purchase the t-shirts at the parade, but there is a way
Yeah.
to do it online. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Tara.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the shirts, if there are shirts still available, they will have them at the parade for purchase, or you can order online to be sure you have them. And the prepaid shirts will also be distributed at the march. Also, I think they might have some at the state convention if you're going to that.
All right. And Amy, was there anything about the state update?
Just all the efforts are going into convention right now. Really proud of our delegates for all of their work. I've been out with COVID, so I'm just really proud of Paul and everybody for picking up the slack and getting all this done. It's going to be a great convention.
Thanks. All right, and that concludes our committee reports. We are at 9 o'clock, but let's just give just a few minutes for good of the order. Is there anyone who has anything that's good of the order? If so, please raise your hand. All right, Robin?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, mic on. Okay, I just wanted to at least make my presence known. So, how much time do I have to talk? I mean, maybe
You have about a minute.
Oh, a minute. Oh, wow. Shorter than I expected. So, yeah, I'm challenging Patty Murray for U.S. Senate. I was born and raised in Everett, Washington, product of two immigrant, hardworking class parents, aerospace engineer. I'm part of the SPIA Engineering Union, and my career is also segued into data science. And I'm probably the first data scientist to run for Senate. And I despise corporate Republicans and Democrats, and I reject corporate donations in my campaign. And I'm running to give left-leaning and independent voters in this primary the option that we shouldn't feel like we're held hostage, that if you don't vote for Patty, you'll lose all your rights. And I live next door in the 36th legislative district. And during the campaign, I supported and attended the Starbucks Union anti-union busting protest in Capitol Hill. You might have seen me in April 2022. So I thought I'd just say hello. So.
All right, thank you. Anyone else with a good of the order? Okay. With that, thank you everybody for your participation tonight in this endorsement meeting. And congratulations to everyone who has endorsed. We'll get this up on the website and out on Slack. I'm sorry, on Twitter and Facebook and everything, so all the candidates are able to point to the endorsement. And with that, good night.